I took my old rim brake bike and updated it with a wireless electronic group set and made it more modern. I got the Wheeltop EDS TX rim brake group set from Wheeltop, so thank you Wheeltop for sending it. Now I was able to update my rim brake bike, which is the 2012 Scott CR1 Pro rim brake bike. Now it used to run Shimano 105 mechanical, which in my opinion is one of the best mechanical group sets out there. Now adding electronic is really awesome and it can really revamp your old rim brake bike. Do you really need electronic group sets? Probably not, but it is something that's really cool and that can help update the feel and look of your bike. With the group set being wireless, it is so easy to set up. You simply remove your old derailleurs, rear and front derailleurs, and also all of the cabling. And the neat thing is, with my Scott CR1, the cables are external anyway, so it is a fairly easy bike to work on. However, it still does make the assembly process that much easier. You simply assemble your rear derailleur and front derailleur with one screw each, and you're pretty much set up in terms of the assembly of the derailleurs. Now adding the shifters is fairly straightforward as well. Remove the old shifters with the cables, brake cables, and shifting cables, and then add the new wheel top shifters, and that's pretty much it from an assembly standpoint. Now they are completely wireless because there are no wires going from the shifters to the derailleurs, nor are there any wires going from the derailleurs to a battery because the batteries are already built in. Similar to the SRAM wireless group set. Now this group set is a bit more budget compared to the mainstream brands, but they do work pretty well for what they are. Now I've been using the Wheeltop EDS TX group set on my Hygge bike for quite some time, and I have really enjoyed riding with it, and I think that it's a pretty fantastic electronic wireless group set. Now setting up the wireless group set was fairly straightforward in terms of pairing it to the app. Okay, so these did finish charging, the light did turn off, but I've plugged them in again. I'm going to go ahead and remove this and add a new device, and instructions appear, and it looks like there is a derailleur that's able to bind, so this is the pairing, and I'm going to go ahead and name the device. I'm going to call this rim brake because this is for my rim brake bike, and we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, name successful. So rim brake. Okay, so I did pair the rear derailleur, and it's saying this is 100% battery, and somehow it seemed to have already paired the front derailleur as well. So I'm not sure if that worked or not, but maybe I'll try. Let's see. Oh wow, what the heck? After pairing just the rear derailleur, it paired everything together. I'm not sure how that happened, but that's definitely a plus from the experience side. It seems like it's all working. Wow. Holy crap. That was so easy. So you just start off by pairing your rear derailleur first, and everything's set up. That's incredible. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I'd have to pair each one individually, like pair the rear derailleur, then the front derailleur, and then the shifters as well, but it looks like they're all tied to this one and somehow they're already paired, so that's good to see. We'll go over here and you can actually, so I'll press Bluetooth to disconnect the group set from my app. We'll go ahead in this top menu and you can see EDS TX. This is actually my disc brake version that I've already reviewed. So if I go to that menu, I can change to the different group set. So right now it's searching for the devices, but it hasn't been woken up. So this is my disc brake group set, so that's over there. So you can actually switch your equipment like from bikes. So you go into this top menu here, the hamburger menu, and I am currently working on my rim brake group set, so I'm going to go here and switch. You can also untie, which means to disconnect and unpair, but we're going to go switch there. And yeah, this is pretty awesome. It looks like it somehow paired everything automatically, so it has to wake up, but yeah, everything seems to be working. Like it's all somehow all paired. It looks like the shifter, the front derailleur shifter, is at 2.8 volts, so I might have to swap that out just in case. But so far, like, wow, this is pretty sweet. It's already working out of the box. Very nice. That's awesome. And the trim seems to be working as well. Right shifter with brake cable is 214 grams, and the left shifter with brake cable is 196 grams, and the front derailleur 191 grams, and last but not least the rear derailleur 337 grams. Alright, so these hoods are quite stiff. They are high quality, but they are stiff, so that is one thing to kind of look out for. On the Wheeltop manual, it does say something like 10 to 12 Newton meters for the shifters, but I guess set it to roughly about 5 Newton meters, 5 to 6 Newton meters. I'm using aluminum bars on this one, but let's go with that for now. I think 10 to 12 Newton meters is way too much. So they do mention to bias this inner face of the front derailleur almost just against the chain, but that's not quite possible for me. I'm not sure why, but basically this crank arm will be touching or interfering with the front derailleur cage on this side, so you can't really follow the instructions to the T. You really have to kind of work your way through the installation based on how your crank arms fit, because let's say your crank arms are further in or further out, that can definitely make a difference between where your derailleur cage ends up. So for my purposes, I've made sure that the derailleur cage doesn't touch the crank arm, and it's really close, but that's how I've got it set it up. Now once that's done, it's time to go to the rear derailleur. So on the rear derailleur for initial calibration, you want to make sure you're all the way to this side. So in the app, you keep pressing right all the way until you're in the very smallest cog. That's the very first step you have to do. And then once you've set the initial position of the rear derailleur to the smallest cog, then you can go ahead and index the gears and check to see if it works. So that's the very first step. You can see I changed the gear to a bigger cassette, but you can see it's not skipping over. So I've got to fine tune this gear. You can see, I'll do it again. It's having difficulty. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. The 7th cassette in the fine tuning. Okay, so I've increased the distance for gear 7 from 1050 to 1100. So we'll see if that works. So I'm going to go the opposite way. So we're in the 6th gear and 7th gear. There you go, smooth shifting. Because I increased by 50. I think I could increase it just a tiny bit maybe. Okay, we'll just go ahead and cycle through the gears. Gear number 1, or the easiest gear. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 10-speed cassette, and this is the last portion that it'll get to on the small chain ring. So as you can see, and you can hold down as well, and hold down the other way. Very responsive. And it all depends on your ability to set it up though. So it is a bit finicky at first, I would say, but once you get it going, it's nice and easy. And now we'll go into the big chain ring. Okay, we're in the big chain ring, and it does allow you to cross chain going all the way to the small, but this is not recommended, obviously. and all the way to the top. The hardest gear, most difficult, and also in the biggest chainring. And it's got the auto trim on the front as well, so it's kind of nice to see. Yeah. So we've got auto trim about where the 7th and 6th gear is, I believe. You see, you hear that? Alright, now we can see the front chainring and also the rear derailleur. So we'll go all the way to the top. And we'll go down. And into the small chainring, like so. All the way down. And as mentioned, this is the furthest it goes in the small chainring. But yeah, overall, having this on a rim brake bike, the Scott CR1, it is pretty damn awesome having it set up here. It's completely wireless, wireless here, wireless here. So it's just the bolts that attach, and that's pretty much it. I'm running the typical rim brakes that came with the bike, and that's what the assembly step is for this Wheeltop group set. The Wheeltop shifter set up with the brake cables, just the front and the rear brake, and that's pretty much it. This was one of the easiest installs in terms of assembly, but again, once you get it installed, you have to get into the app and do some fine tuning for the front and rear derailleur. Charging the group set is fairly straightforward as well, and I'd say I charge it probably maybe about once a month or so for the front derailleur and rear derailleur. Rear derailleur has to be charged more often because I do more shifting on the rear derailleur, and since I'm commuting, I'm shifting gears constantly, and the front shifters, they each take a coin cell battery, CR2032, which is a fairly common coin cell battery. Now overall, I would say this wireless group set is really awesome to have, and it is the first Chinese wireless group set available on the market. Now there are other group sets such as the L2, and Majin is coming out with a new group set as well, but this one is the very first and only fully electronic wireless group set that I've seen on the market. And it's really exciting to see all of this coming out of China, and hoping to see more of this type of innovation. And perhaps Wheeltop will come out with a TT group set for our triathletes and time trialists. I think this will be a great wireless group set to have, especially because it makes your front end that much cleaner and easier to assemble and set up. Now overall, I will say it makes the riding experience just a bit different and kind of cool in a way. It's kind of like having a Transformers on your bike. Your bike is basically a robot now when it's shifting. I will say that there's something really, really nice about mechanical shifting, especially Shimano 105, which is, in my opinion, one of the best shifting in the market for the price. However, electronic shifting is pretty damn cool. Now, I will say that the shifter buttons, it does take a bit of getting used to compared to the throw of a mechanical lever, but you definitely have to press a bit harder than you think on these, so that's one thing to mention. I will say that shifting is quite precise with this electronic group set. Now, the front derailleur is not as quick as one would imagine compared to other group sets. However, it does its job, and the rear derailleur is very quick in terms of shifting. I do like that you can do micro adjustments for your rear derailleur for the cassette, and it's pretty awesome that you can adjust it from a 7-speed all the way up to a 13-speed bike. Right now I've got a 10-speed bike here and 10-speed cassette, so that's what I'm running. Now, I've been riding this in the rain as well for quite a while, and I haven't had any issues with the group set. So kudos to Wheeltop on the waterproofing so far, as I find that more and more bike brands are shifting towards disc brake bikes and also internally routed and especially integrated aero handlebars. The wireless group set makes it that much easier to set up, so that is definitely a plus in my opinion. One of the cons that I would say is that while the shifter hood's quality is extremely great and high quality and they would last a very long time, they are very stiff in terms of peeling the hoods back. Now, it's not as bad for the rim brake group set because you don't have to access any hydraulic ports or anything like that. However, I will still mention that it is still a bit stiff for assembling it onto your handlebars. Now, another con I would say is that the front derailleur cage, it seems like the chain, every time that it shifts, it seems that the chain rubs and it does seem to be wearing the metal away. You can definitely see the metal wearing away slightly as you continue shifting. Another con that you might think about is that setting it up is a bit more difficult than getting set up in mechanical. Now, what I mean by that is you really have to get your initial calibration set up right the first time in order to have your gears indexed properly. Now, I would say that I wish that Wheeltop gave you the opportunity to index or have micro adjustments in the front derailleur, similar to what they have in the rear derailleur. Overall, I'd say it's been a blast riding this wireless electronic group set on my old rim brake bike. It's really neat to be able to update your old bike with a wireless electronic group set like this Wheeltop EDS TX. If you're on the market to look at revamping your old rim brake bike or even hydraulic bike, check out the Wheeltop EDS TX. It is a neat option for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what bike you've updated with the Wheeltop EDS TX rim brake group set. Save the rim brakes, and until next time, have a good one.